If you've ever enjoyed a meal in a fine dining establishment, a mid-market restaurant, a buffet or cafeteria, or a simple diner, you have to wonder, how do they do it? How do they prepare hundreds of appetizers, salads, soups, main dishes, and desserts all under the pressure of time, consistency, and quality, and get it right every time? Or almost every time. Seems like magic, doesn't it?
It may seem like it, but there's really no magic to a successful kitchen operation. It comes down to planning, organization, communication, timing, and most importantly, people. People like you who've developed the skills and the attention to detail that make high-volume food preparation and service possible. In this program, we'll look at the operation of a commercial kitchen like yours and learn about the organization, tools, and systems that will help you contribute to its success. Specifically, you'll learn about
food safety and sanitation, working safely in the kitchen, your kitchen organization and operation, the importance of recipes, preparing and storing food ingredients, maintaining par stocks, watching portion control and avoiding waste, safe and efficient knife skills, the various equipment involved in preparing and cooking food, the variety of cooking methods, and quality food presentation techniques.
Remember that every food service operation is unique, including yours, with specific rules and procedures you'll need to learn and follow. And while the exact equipment and practices in this program may differ from your operation, the fundamentals you'll see can be used in any kitchen, anywhere, anytime. Let's begin with food safety and sanitation.
Your first responsibility in a kitchen operation is to protect your guests and co-workers from contaminated or spoiled food. This means practicing basic food safety and sanitation procedures when handling food. Understand and follow the food safety rules and procedures established by your management, as well as the local and state health department guidelines, which may mean mandatory education and certification. For more in-depth coverage of this important topic, watch another training title in this series, the Sunrise Basic Training Food Safety and Sanitation Program. Microscopic organisms are present by the millions on nearly every surface. Some can be dangerous if allowed to multiply and transferred when handling food. This means that the first line of defense in a commercial kitchen is washing your hands before, during, and after handling food. Gloves can provide added protection, but they are no substitute for hand washing. Gloves should be changed when damaged, when changing tasks, or when switching from handling one food to another. Always wear gloves when handling ready-to-eat food. Proper headwear is also important. Wear a work-only hat in the kitchen, and use a hairnet if your hair is long. Also, avoid wearing jewelry or makeup accessories that could possibly fall into food. Cross-contamination happens when pathogens on one food item, often raw meat or seafood, come in contact with other foods or are transferred from kitchen utensils. Prevent this by washing and sanitizing knives, cooking utensils, and cutting surfaces after each use, and by changing gloves whenever you handle different foods. Don't store or thaw raw meat on high shelves where they can drip or otherwise contaminate nearby foods. Beware of the temperature danger zone between 41 degrees to 135 degrees Fahrenheit or between 5 and 58 degrees Celsius. Below the temperature danger zone, foodborne pathogens are dormant or slowed, and sustained temperatures above the danger zone kill pathogens. However, within the danger zone, pathogens can thrive, multiplying quickly and creating toxins that can lead to illness and death. Never let frozen items thaw at room temperature. Thaw foods in a refrigerator or bath of cold water. Cook foods by bringing their temperature up quickly through the danger zone, assuring that all parts of the food reaches a safe temperature. Use a food thermometer to check. Be sure to sanitize food thermometers before and after use. The danger zone must be avoided when serving foods as well, keeping hot foods hot and cold food cold. Serve plated food immediately and watch temperatures of buffet trays and salad bars. When restoring prepared foods, cool them rapidly to below the danger zone. If using a refrigerator or freezer, divide large portions into smaller containers that will cool more quickly. Large containers of food or liquid may be cooled rapidly in an ice or cold water bath or using an ice insert. Cover food items and containers at all times, as foodborne pathogens can travel by air too. Use airtight containers that are labeled and dated properly. Always store food items so that the oldest items are used first, using the FIFO method. First in, first out. Watch code dates and do not use or serve past due food items. The rule is, when in doubt, throw it out. Another safety issue has to do with preventing accidents and injuries. Your kitchen can be a dangerous place with heat, fire, sharp objects, machinery, electricity, slippery surfaces, and many other dangers. Your operation likely has rules and regulations regarding workplace safety, so you need to follow them strictly. You can find extended coverage of this subject in the Sunrise Basic Training Workplace Safety and Security Program. Stretch lightly before work or prior to a task, and learn to lift safely using your legs rather than your back. Get help or a hand cart for heavy loads. Always select the correct tool or utensil for the job and use it properly. Avoid repetitive motions for long periods of time, switching hands or muscle groups if you can, or finding a machine to do the job. Wipe or mop up spills immediately and mark wet or slippery surfaces. Move efficiently but cautiously through preparation and service areas, maintaining a clear view and communicating with others. If you're unsure something is hot, assume it is. If you know it's hot, warn others. Okay. Use insulated gloves and hot pads when handling potentially hot items, and wear long-sleeve shirts and aprons to protect yourself from hot foods and liquids. Secure the lid and use the lower level of a cart to transport hot liquids. Use caution and follow manufacturer's directions when using cooking equipment like deep fryers, pressure cookers, ovens, griddles, and steam trays. Knives are made to cut, food that is. Use the right one for the job and make sure it is sharp. Don't get distracted when using a knife, and learn proper knife technique to protect your fingers and hands. Wear a safety glove if necessary. Store, handle, and wash knives with care, never leaving a dirty knife in a sink to be washed. There are dozens of kitchen machines that can do harm if used improperly. Get instructions and read the manual on any kitchen machine before use. Roll up your sleeves and avoid neckties or loose-fitting clothes. Then make sure all guards and shields are in place and that the machine is stable on a level surface. Don't use your hands to insert or add food, and if a utensil falls in a moving machine, turn it off and unplug it before retrieving it. Always unplug the machine before disassembling or cleaning. Prevent fires by cleaning your grease traps several times a day and washing your vent screens frequently. Keep ovens and other cooking equipment clean and free of combustible debris. Oils, paper, and other flammable materials must be kept away from heat sources and open flames. Never use water to put out a cooking fire. It will likely make it spread. Make sure you have the right type of fire extinguisher on hand and know how to use it. Now that you know the basics of food and kitchen safety, it's time to get an overview of kitchen organization. Every food service operation must be organized to efficiently create the types of food offered to its customers. Some food service operations are as simple as one cook and a server, but even at this level, the responsibilities are clear and the workflow streamlined so that guests are served consistent food on a timely basis. In larger food service operations, the jobs become more specialized. There may be dozens of people involved: managers, chefs, expediters, assistant chefs, cooks, line cooks, food prep workers, dishwashers, pot washers, and bussers. Each has specific responsibilities in the preparation and delivery of food to the customer. Most kitchens are led by an executive chef, kitchen manager, or a head cook. This person is responsible for supervising and managing the overall preparation and delivery of food to the customer. This person is usually very involved in the development of the menu and recipes used, ordering food supplies and ingredients, buying and maintaining equipment, as well as hiring and scheduling staff. He or she may actually create the food served or simply supervise others while managing quality. In any case, this person is under a lot of pressure and he or she must delegate to others in the kitchen. Who are the others? In commercial kitchens, the second line in the org chart includes assistant chefs, called sous chefs, cooks, and line cooks. These people are actually involved with the preparation and cooking of food items, and their responsibilities are usually divided according to the complexity of the kitchen operation and/or the type of food they prepare. For instance, a large kitchen may have a grill cook, pastry chef, or vegetable cook, while a smaller diner may have one or more breakfast cooks. In any case, these people are almost always busy and must have an adequate supply of ingredients to prepare the food they cook. This is where the prep cook or food prep worker comes in. These valuable staff members slice, peel, chop, grate, saute, and otherwise prepare the hundreds of ingredients that go into the dishes cooked and served each day. Their skill and attention to detail is critical to the success of the kitchen because their work goes into every dish on the menu. Other behind-the-scenes players in every successful kitchen are the bussers, dishwashers, and pot washers. Just as important as having adequate food ingredients, every kitchen must also have clean pots, pans, utensils, and serviceware in order to prepare and serve food to the customers. The work of these kitchen team members becomes even more important during busy or rush times. How important are recipes? Recipes are the holy grail of kitchen operations. Each guest expects exactly what is on the menu, every time. The quality and consistency of finished dishes depends on kitchen staff following the recipe. Every recipe includes a list of ingredients, seasonings, steps, and times needed to prepare a specific dish. Many restaurants not only describe the recipe, but also have a picture of the food in order to maintain visual consistency. Follow recipes religiously, never varying ingredients or portions, skipping steps, or shortcutting cooking times. If you must make a modification, ask your supervisor for a substitution and whether you should notify servers to make the guest aware. What if a chef had to dice a single onion each time a dish called for it? What if a cook had to stop and grate cheese for each dish? Or a server snip parsley to garnish each plate? Things would be pretty slow, wouldn't they? The fact is that the majority of ingredients going into the foods your kitchen creates are prepared in advance. In a large-scale kitchen operation, this may involve generating great quantities of ingredients and pre-cooking some food items so that they can be quickly heated, finished, and served. Always follow food safety and sanitation principles, as well as your kitchen's specific standards for the preparation of ingredients, dealing with the process, size, shape, texture, and appearance. If you use kitchen equipment, know the manufacturer's guidelines for proper and safe operation. Depending on the ability of a particular ingredient to stay fresh, The preparation may happen hours or even days before. That's why it is important to follow food safety and sanitation procedures when generating food prep items. This means properly labeling and storing items. Write the preparation date and time on the container, and when storing, rotate stock using the first in, first out method. This also means keeping food containers covered and avoiding the temperature danger zone by keeping hot foods hot and cold foods cold. Heated or cooled containers must be checked to maintain proper temperatures. Be sure to sanitize food thermometers before and after use. How does a kitchen know exactly how much of an ingredient to prepare? By creating a par stock for each item. The par stock of a food prep item is the amount that should be available at a specific time, such as the beginning of the day or start or end of a shift. Par stocks for various items may differ for days of the week or shifts in a day. For instance, Tuesday's par stock for grated nacho cheese may be a fraction of what it will be for Friday and Saturday when you're busy. Also, the shredded potatoes par stock may be higher for breakfast than lunch and dinner shifts. Most restaurants keep a par stock list, which shows the amount of ingredient that should be on hand at specific times. If you are a food prep worker, this will be your to-do list. If you're a cook or a chef, you'll want to adjust this list based on demand and be sure the ingredients have been prepared for. Whether you are a chef, cook, or food prep worker, one of the most critical concepts to understand is portion control. Every recipe specifies exact amounts of food, liquids, and seasonings, either by weight, volume, or quantity. Why pay such close attention to these specifications? Because the profitability and success of your restaurant depends on it. Take a sandwich wrap, a popular menu item in your restaurant. It calls for 6 ounces of turkey. A couple ounces less, and the customer may be dissatisfied. You've reduced the main ingredient by a third. A couple ounces over, and you've just given away about 40 cents worth of turkey, which may not sound like much until you multiply that by 30 sandwiches you serve every day, 365 days a year, and before you know it, you're losing over $4,000 a year. This is why many kitchens pre-weigh food portions or have small scales on cooking lines to weigh as you prepare. Use them consistently. Because the profit margins of most commercial kitchens are very thin, very few things get thrown away. The ends and cuttings from these vegetables will be used to flavor a stock or soup, as will the trimmings and bones from this cut of meat or poultry. The drippings from this roast will be used to make sauce or gravy. And these leftover baked potatoes will be used to make American fries for tomorrow's breakfast shift. The point is, before you throw anything away, be sure the chef or cook won't need it for some other purpose. However, never reuse any food item after it has been served to a guest.
The development of knife skills will greatly enhance your productivity and value in the kitchen. However, it is important to develop these skills slowly and to follow all safety precautions.
Select the right knife for the job at hand. Make sure the knife you are using is sharp. Sharp knives are safer. Your cutting surface should be clean and stable. Use a clean safety glove on your offhand while learning. Most knife accidents happen because of haste or distraction. Pay attention to what you're doing and work at a steady pace. Don't rush. Never hand a knife to someone. Set it down for them to pick up instead, and if a knife falls, let it. Do not try to catch it. Place dirty knives in a special place for cleaning, never in a sink. Store knives safely with regard to sanitation. The most common cutting task is slicing or dicing. Begin by halving or dividing the item to create a flat surface, then trimming the unused portion, which may be best done with a smaller knife. Then cut even slices of the width you need. Notice that the cutter never extends his or her fingers, but curls the fingertips back away from the knife. Cross-cut these slices into smaller pieces of the width you need. Notice also how the chef uses the tip of the knife to guide the blade, rather than using a sawing motion. If you need an even finer cut, mince the food by placing one edge of the knife on the cutting surface and making rapid cutting motions across the cutting surface. You may need to wipe the blade and reshape the pile to make sure all pieces are evenly cut.
Like any profession, working in a kitchen requires that you know the tools of the trade, the basic equipment used to prepare food. The most basic of kitchen equipment are pots and pans. There are dozens of different kinds, each with a specific purpose. They can be made of many different metals, but most often are either stainless steel or anodized aluminum. Select the right pot or pan for the job. The most common are
Stock pots are large, tall pots with two handles used to slowly simmer stocks, broth, and soups. They are much higher than wide and may have a small spigot at the bottom to drain off liquids. Also used to cook large volumes of food is a rondo, also known as a Griswold, a larger, wide, and somewhat shallow pot with two handles near the top. Sauce pots come in many sizes, but are as tall or taller than they are wide and usually have a single long handle. They are used to boil and cook various food items, from vegetables to pastas and rice, or large quantities of sauces. Saucepans come in many varieties but are wider than they are tall. These shallow pans are typically used to prepare sauces and small volume finished dishes. A double boiler, also known as a bain-marie, is a two-pot device where one pot nests within the second pot that contains heated water to gently cook the food without scorching or burning. A large flat version of this is used in a service area to keep food at a safe temperature and called a steam tray. A steamer is also a two-pot device where holes or slits in the bottom of the upper pot allow steam from the bottom pot to cook the food. Similar to a saucepan, a sauté pan is a small flat pan with flared edges and usually a non-stick coating that helps prevent scorching when cooking small volumes of food. Roasting pans are large square pans with short sides used for oven cooking. They may be made of metal, oven-tempered glass, or ceramics. A type of roasting pan called a hotel pan comes in many different sizes and is very versatile because it is used both to cook and serve food, especially in buffet racks, steam trays, or steam tables. A sheet pan, also known as a baking sheet or cookie sheet, is a large flat pan with short sides ideal for cooking flat items or baked goods. These are some of the basic pots and pans used in most kitchens, but your operation may have other pots, pans, and specialty cooking containers for specific uses. Ask your chef or kitchen manager to explain your kitchen equipment. Every kitchen has a variety of utensils for stirring, flipping, turning, and otherwise manipulating food. Here are some of the most common. A spatula is a flat, square, or round tool with a long handle used to flip, turn, and remove cooked items from a grill or pan. A long, thin version of this is a palette knife, used to spread sauces or glazes, or for turning long, thin items such as fish fillets or crepes. Spoons come in many sizes and are obviously used to stir or serve food items. Plastic or silicone spoons are sometimes preferred over metal because they do not scratch coated pots and pans. Tongs are used to grasp and manipulate food items while cooking. This large flat spoon is called a skimmer. It is used to skim the surface of stocks, soups, and sauces. Scrapers typically have a soft rubber or plastic blade to finish removing sauces, mixes, and liquids from bowls or pans. This large bowl-like spoon is called a ladle and is used to serve soups, sauces, and stews. A very small spoon-like utensil is a melon baller, used to scoop small round portions of melon and butter. A roasting fork is a large, long fork used to lift and hold roasted meat and other large cooked items for carving. Whips come in various sizes and are used to rapidly mix ingredients. Strainers come in various sizes and mesh densities, from large colanders to rinse or drain food items, to sieves or chinois used for straining or pureeing foods, to cheesecloth used for fine straining of stock and sauces. Many food preparation jobs require motorized equipment, and you should be familiar with the basics. Industrial food mixers come in many sizes and configurations with multiple mixing attachments for specific jobs. A buffalo chopper is a larger device with a rotating bowl and cutting attachments that can cut, chop, and mix foods to any consistency. A vertical chopper is really an industrial version of a common blender used to blend or whip foods. An immersion blender is a versatile hand mixer used to blend ingredients rapidly in a tabletop bowl, pot, or pan. A slicer uses a large circular rotating blade to slice cooked meats, cheeses, and sometimes vegetables. It is usually operated by hand, but some types can be set on automatic. A mandolin slicer is a hand-operated device used to slice vegetables and other small food items, often with a julienne pattern. A grinder is a freestanding machine, either hand-cranked or electric, that grinds food by pushing it into a cutting pattern called a die. The important thing to remember about all kitchen machinery is to always use with all guards and safety devices attached. Never push or feed food items into kitchen machinery by hand. Always use the feeder stick or an appropriate device. Unplug the machine before disassembling or cleaning.
Kitchens have a variety of devices used to cook food by applying heat. First is a range or stovetop,
a series of gas or electric burners that apply heat to pots and pans. A gas flame is most frequently used because of its ability to start and vary heat instantly. Many kitchens have a griddle, also called a flat top, a large flat iron surface that can cook food directly or be used to keep pots and pans warm. Similar to the griddle, and often an extension of it, is a grill, a flat cooking surface that has raised edges or a grate to score the meat and allow juices to drip into the heat element to produce a grilled flavor. There are many types of ovens used in a commercial kitchen. A conventional deck oven has a number of shelves for pans to cook and applies an even dry heat to bake or roast foods. A broiler oven applies radiant heat from above to cook or brown food and is sometimes used with a broiler pan that allows juices to drain. A convection oven uses fans to circulate hot air around food to cook from the outside in or to create a brown crust. Probably the most useful tool you'll use in the kitchen is a knife. There are dozens of different types of knives in all sizes, and each one is designed to do a specific job. The most common is the large chef knife, a longer knife with a large curved blade that is ideal for many cutting tasks, slicing and trimming, as well as chopping and dicing. A cleaver is a larger, heavy knife with a square blade. Use this knife to chop meat or dice large amounts of vegetables. This bread knife has a long, flat, serrated blade that evenly cuts through baked items. A carving knife has a similar shape but a finer edged blade, ideal for slicing cooked meat. Smaller knives are generally used for more precision jobs, such as this paring knife, which is used to delicately trim vegetables. This fillet knife is used to precision cut meat or fish fillets. This boning knife is very thin, allowing it to get into tight spaces next to bones. There are many specialty knives designed for specific jobs, like this swivel blade peeler, which quickly peels vegetables like carrots and potatoes, or this oyster knife used to open shellfish. Look through the selection of knives in your kitchen and understand which ones are best for the jobs that you might do. If you are unsure, ask your manager or executive chef.
Every recipe calls for one or more cooking methods: dry heat, oil-based, or moist heat. Dry heat cooking methods include baking, roasting, grilling, broiling, and barbecuing.
Baking is the simplest of dry heat cooking methods. Baked foods are placed on a large flat baking sheet and placed in an oven for a specific period of time. Roasting is similar to baking in that dry heat is applied in an oven. However, roasting usually involves the food being cooked or basted in its own drippings, which are often used to create finishing sauces for the food. Grilling applies direct heat to the food from a large flat surface. Some grills have raised ridges that score or mark the food while allowing juices to drip below and steam back up to flavor the food. Broiling applies radiant heat from above the food. Broiling is often used in combination with other cooking methods to finish the food with a crisp or firm surface. Barbecued foods are cooked over an open flame or a fire produced from charcoal or wood. These foods have a smoky flavor and are often smothered in a rich barbecue sauce. Some cooking methods involve food cooked in oil, butter, or fat. Perhaps the most common kitchen cooking method involves frying food on a griddle, the flat metal cooking surface common to nearly every restaurant. Here, a little oil or fat from the food itself helps cook the food and keep it from sticking or burning. Pan frying involves cooking food in a shallow pan and a small amount of oil. Often the food is coated or breaded to create a flavorful or crunchy finish. Sautéing is the practice of cooking small amounts of food quickly in a shallow pan using its own juices, seasonings or marinades, and oil to create a sauce that is served with the food. Searing is the process of cooking the outside of a food item very rapidly in hot oil, butter, or fat. This method is often used to seal in flavor prior to or after other cooking methods. With deep frying, foods are lowered into a hot oil bath where they rapidly absorb heat from the oil. These foods are also often coated or dipped in batter to provide finish and flavor. Heat methods use water or steam to cook and prepare the food. These methods include boiling, poaching, and steaming. Boiling is the most basic moist heat cooking method, involving foods bathed in boiling water. Obviously, stocks and soups involve boiling or simmering. Also, beans, rice, and pasta are frequently boiled, with seasonings applied to flavor the food. Parboiling is used to reduce the prep time for food items. Food is pre-cooked and then refrigerated until needed. The item is then reheated and finished quickly with another cooking method such as frying, searing, or baking. Poaching involves floating or bathing food items in very hot, but not boiling, water. Delicate foods such as eggs, fish, and chicken are often prepared this way, and the remaining fluids can be used to prepare sauces. Steaming methods surround food with hot steam generated by boiling water. Special cooking utensils called steamers or double boilers have a lower unit that holds boiling water and an upper unit with mesh or holes that allow the steam through. Convection steamers produce steam to cook large quantities of food trays held in racks above the steam.
The final step in creating any menu item is to actually place the food on the plate in a visually appealing manner. Your restaurant or food service operation has strict guidelines for this stage of the food preparation cycle, possibly with photos or diagrams of each menu item. In any case, here are some concepts to know.
Timing is important. All food items should be placed on the plate at about the same time so that no item will be cool or appear old to the customer. Pay attention to the order in which food items are placed on the plate. A bed of rice goes down before the chicken breast and then the sauce is added. Generally, hotter items and main dish items go down before side dishes. Balancing the plate means to arrange the various food items so that they fill up the plate and gives it an appearance of quality and value. Garnishes are often used to help balance the plate and add color to the overall presentation. Fruit, vegetables, and herbs such as parsley often serve as garnishes. Depending on the organization of your operation, servers may be responsible for garnishing the plate.
Quality food preparation and an efficient kitchen operation is all part of a successful food service operation. By using the skills and knowledge we've covered in this program, you can be part of a successful team that delivers quality and consistency that drives guest satisfaction. It may seem like magic to your customers, but the truth is, your behind-the-scenes skill, knowledge, and attention to detail are the key to a successful restaurant or food service operation.